Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating paradox. We're going to talk about why the size of your income absolutely does not automatically equal the size of your wealth. We're going to explore a set of quiet, centuries-old Japanese money habits that completely reframe how we think about saving, spending, and building a financial fortress, totally regardless of what your paycheck looks like. To really wrap our heads around why this matters, we have to start with this pretty striking contrast. An Osaka schoolteacher who never earns more than 50 grand a year can confidently walk into retirement with significantly more real financial security than an American physician who's billing $300,000 annually. It's wild, right? But that massive gap has almost nothing to do with the size of the paycheck flowing in. It actually traces back to what each culture does with the water once it arrives. So here is our game plan for this masterclass. We're going to explore the life cycle of a dollar across 6 fundamental themes: the income illusion, the friction of spending, the discipline of enough, the engine of automation, the wealth of patience, and finally, purpose and financial literacy. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the income illusion, earning more versus keeping more.
Now, Americans today earn more in absolute terms than ever before. Yet we are facing a genuine savings crisis compared to previous generations. We are saving roughly half of what we used to, and it's leaving households incredibly vulnerable. Look at the sheer scale of the leak here. American credit card debt crossed $1.28 trillion at the end of 2025. And with average interest rates sitting around 21%, that debt is quietly draining massive amounts of wealth straight out of ordinary wallets and right into bank earnings. It's a system literally engineered for continuous depletion.
That brings us to Section 2, the friction of spending, adding pause to payments.
If modern society is built to make spending totally frictionless and invisible, just double tapping your phone, the Japanese approach brilliantly adds deliberate friction back into our daily habits. And that brings us to Kakeibo. This is a household financial ledger published back in 1904, and millions of people still use it today by choice. Instead of a sleek app that color codes your spending while you aren't really paying attention, Kakeibo forces you to write everything down by hand. It physically forces you to look that $11 lunch in the eye and decide on paper if it was actually worth it.
This method deliberately forces us to end the comfortable lies we tell ourselves about where our money really goes. It's a simple process. You write down your income, sort your purchases into categories like needs, wants, and culture. And most importantly, you answer reflection questions at the end of the month. It just forces honesty. Because, well, you can't fix a number you refuse to look at directly. Next is the concept of molta-nai. This is a deep, almost spiritual refusal to waste. When you feel a genuine pang of regret over discarding something useful, you naturally start hunting down and canceling those unused autopilot subscriptions. You turn leftover rice into tomorrow's fried rice. You stop that impulse buy at the cash register by asking yourself, hey, is this new bread machine actually going to be honored, or is it just going to serve a quiet 9-year sentence rotting in my cabinet?
Moving right along to Section 3, the discipline of enough, living below the line. Protecting your wealth requires the gentle discipline of knowing what is enough, rather than just letting your lifestyle aggressively expand to swallow every single dollar you earn. There's this famous Okinawan eating rule called Hara Hachibu, which means eating until you're 80% full. Now, applied to your paycheck, this is an absolute game changer. You deliberately live on 80% of your income and let the other 20% completely vanish into savings before your eyes even land on it. It's not about restriction or suffering at all. It's about calmly stopping at enough. And that 20% margin directly feeds Chokin, which is the non-negotiable act of saving first. Over in Japan, saving isn't just what you do with whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. It is the absolute foundation. By treating your emergency fund as the very first bill paid, sometimes even using physical cash envelopes to create that honest sting of parting with the money, you prevent a broken card transmission from automatically converting into a 21% debt spiral. Okay, part 4, the engine of automation, removing friction from investing. Here, we completely flip the script. While we add friction to our spending, we entirely remove friction from our investing. Enter Tsumitate, the quiet machine of automatic investing. Think of a 401k or Japan's tax-free new NISA. It's the strategy of regular, fixed contributions into broad, low-cost funds. You invest, and you just forget about it. It is absolutely amazing how a steady, automatic $500 monthly contribution can grow to well over $1 million over a career purely because you let the magic of compound interest do the heavy lifting without you constantly checking the stock price. And to actually get there,
Contrast the exhausting American heroic leap with the Japanese concept of Kaizen. The heroic leap is, deciding on January 1st to save 25% of your income and literally never eat out again, a massive resolution that completely collapses by February. Kaizen, on the other hand, is the gentle art of getting just 1% better. It's nudging your savings rate up by an unnoticeable $50 a month. It's painless, but it permanently sets the direction of your wealth. Similarly, we have Danshari, the practice of owning less. Every item you buy carries a hidden second price tag, which is the cost of storing, cleaning, and managing it. A garage full of unused gear isn't an asset, it's just dead money. Danshari teaches us to calculate the honest cost per use. A $100 jacket worn 200 times, that's a total bargain at 50 cents a wear. But a $400 jacket worn twice, that is a massive waste. Let's slide right into Section 5, the wealth of patience, thinking in decades. Because, look, none of these automated systems matter if you panic and interrupt them. The Japanese have this concept called Shinisei. It embodies the patience of centuries-old businesses. Look at Kongo Gumi, a construction company founded in 578 AD. No, really, 578. They survived 14 centuries, not by chasing hot quarterly trends, but by thinking in vast time horizons. And honestly, this is the precise mindset a successful investor needs. The brutal math here shows exactly why that patience matters. The stock market historically hands out around a 10% average annual return, yet studies show the typical, impatient investor captures only about 2.9%. That massive gap, it's destroyed by panic selling, greedy buying, and trying to time the market. The Shinisei investor simply holds and measures their success in decades. And to maintain that patience, you need wabi-sabi. This aesthetic philosophy finds genuine beauty in things that are imperfect, weathered, and sufficient. By appreciating what you already have, you step right off the hedonic treadmill. That endless cycle of lifestyle creep where every raise is swallowed by a slightly bigger house or a newer car. Wabi-sabi makes you completely immune to relentless upgrade advertising. And finally, Section 6, Purpose and Financial Literacy, the bedrock of wealth. This is the essential bedrock that actually makes all of these remarkable habits sustainable over the arc of an entire lifetime. That bedrock is your ikigai, your reason for being. It's the deep, underlying purpose that pulls you out of bed in the morning. When you have ikigai, money quietly stops being a scoreboard you are forever losing on and transforms into a simple tool. It makes living on 80% of your income feel easy because you aren't desperately chasing the next purchase. You are patiently buying your own freedom. But remember, even the best purpose and habits buckle without basic financial literacy. You have to understand exactly why a 21% credit card outruns a 4% savings account every single time. You have to understand how compound interest works. Without knowing the actual rules of the game, even the best discipline just gets aimed in the wrong direction. So the absolutely crucial point I want to leave you with at the end of this explainer is this. These 10 quiet habits, from handwriting your budget to automating your investments, are simply the mechanics. You know the rules of the game now. But the real question, the one that changes everything, is what is the ikigai you are actually funding? Find that, and you found your wealth.